Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Wednesday evening to you all. Hope you guys have had an awesome day out there, having a great work week, and staying safe out there tonight. We're here to talk about the obvious, which is this big Arctic blast. It's already began to surge southward. Temperatures are dropping at a very dramatic pace, and they will continue to surge southward through the southern plains and then southeast and then eastward into the Ohio Valley, areas of the Mississippi Valley, and then we'll start to spread into areas further south as we get into tomorrow. So we're going to break it all down. There's going to be blizzard conditions for many areas. If not sustained blizzard conditions, there's at least going to be sporadic blizzard conditions along this frontal passage. I've had a lot of people ask, why is it a blizzard, when we're only getting 2 to 4 inches of snow? Well, a blizzard criteria really doesn't speak on the amount of snow you get. It's, a sustained period of winds pushing 35 miles per hour or higher for about a 3-hour period to hit blizzard warning criteria. So just remember that. I think when a lot of people hear blizzard, including me, especially when I didn't know about all these criteria about warnings and advisories and things like that, most people, when they think blizzard, they think several inches of snow, feet of snow. That's not the case here. And we'll talk about that and we'll break it down. But the real story, guys, dangerous wind chills, extremely cold temperatures, strong winds, and there will be some accumulating snow along the way that will create a white Christmas scene for a lot of folks. But we got to get through the dangerous part of the storm first. So we're going to break it all down for you guys. This is going to be a very detailed video, probably the most detailed video that I've done. We're going to break down individual areas and not, each state, but we're going to get pretty close to that. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video. Let's get this video out there to more people. I really appreciate your support and just supporting me. I don't have this great, awesome setup or anything, and you guys choose to support me regardless, and 95% of the comments are very nice and supportive, and I really appreciate people who support me. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below so I can pray over it and so others can do too. So we all can look out for one another and glorify God doing it. Check out Twitter, Facebook, great ways to follow along, especially Twitter. I'm telling you, we like to have a lot of fun on there. We get serious, but we put a little humor in things too sometimes. But watches and warnings, let's check this out. I mean, it is littered with it. You got blizzard warnings mainly due, you got snow falling out here in the Dakotas, but it's mainly due to like a ground blizzard, meaning snow's on the ground, it's just blowing around, and winds are gusting at a very high pace or high miles per hour. You got all kinds of things going on down here. You got winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, wind chill warnings, wind chill advisories. This will get expanded eastward into the Carolinas probably sometime throughout the overnight hours. And this is getting serious, guys. I mean, it really is. This is the real deal. Some counties have multiple watches and warnings. So let's go on and break it down individually with watches and warnings, because some people don't know what they are under. Minneapolis, you're not quite under a blizzard warning, but you're almost surrounded in all directions, and mainly from the south, southwest, and west in blizzard warnings. But a good chunk of Iowa under blizzard warnings. If you're in the pink, that's winter storm warnings. And then, I would say 80% of the state of Illinois under a winter storm warning. And then blizzard warnings for basically the eastern shorelines and eastern and western border counties of Michigan. And then all of northern Michigan, blizzard warnings. And, you got a lot going on. I believe these are winter weather advisories up here. And no, these are winter weather advisories. These are winter storm watches up here. So you will likely get upgraded to some kind of blizzard warning or winter storm warning. But down here in these more purplish colors, not this more teal colors, but these purplish colors, those are winter weather advisories, kind of surrounding the epicenter to the worst weather. Now, you go a little bit further southwest, you got winter weather advisories as far southwest as Tulsa, Oklahoma. In fact, it was interesting. I was reading the National Weather Service. They're calling for 1 to 2 inches of snow and say blizzard conditions are possible. And you're thinking 1 to 2 inches of snow, blizzard? It's a thing, guys. It's because, listen, when this snow comes through, it's not going to snow for very long, but when the rain changes to snow and the front moves through, it is going to look like a blizzard out there. It is, and it's going to rapidly accumulate. Kansas City, St. Louis, winter storm warnings up, winter weather advisories all the way down to Little Rock, Memphis, winter weather advisories. And here it is. You see it again. 60% of the state of Arkansas have winter weather advisories. And this is mainly due to the fact that even if you get 1 hour of light snow or the burst of snow that you will more than likely get with the frontal boundary that moves through this area tomorrow, this will likely put a coating on everything and the roads will get slick almost immediately because you're going to have a flash freeze situation. So any moisture anywhere, when I tell you it's going to freeze almost immediately, it really is, because temperatures will go to the 40s and 30s to the teens in a matter of probably 2 hours in all these areas, even in the south. Winter weather advisories for Memphis, Nashville. For now, most except like 5 counties of Kentucky under winter weather advisories. But I would not be surprised. In fact, the far northern county, I believe, up here, and the far northern 3 counties of Kentucky, you have a winter storm watch. So this could get upgraded to a warning, and then some of these advisories could get upgraded to a warning. So there's a lot going on. These winter weather advisories right over here, this is due to the fact that you're going to have a system flying throughout the overnight hours tonight, and you actually have some winter storm warnings. And this really isn't because of this Arctic front. This is from a low pressure riding into some marginal cool air into this region right here. But I mean, you got a lot going on. You know, you go up here to the northeast, which I didn't have pulled up already. And for now, you just got winter storm watches up for Buffalo. Erie, winter storm warning. And you got a lot of wind alerts up here. These are many different forms of wind alerts. High wind warnings, wind advisories, all kinds of things. High wind watches, you got flood watches, all kinds of things. So let's talk about temperatures now. So this is and let's make sure we're current. And I feel like we're not quite current, but this is about as close as we're going to get. These are current temperatures. So what you're looking at here, like I said, current temperatures as of, what is it? This is probably around 5:43 Central Time. Back that up an hour in the Rockies. But anyways, check this out. It's already chilly in Nebraska, right? But look, the far and northwest counties. This is how tight the gradient. This is in real time, right? And I'll get this in motion here. For example, the front is about to move through Denver as I speak right now. You're almost at 50 degrees in Denver, and you're about to drop into the single digits in a matter of almost minutes. But here's the front coming down. Look as it surges. We're getting into Wednesday morning this morning. And this is the front. Look how it surges southward. And it's knocking on the door of Denver as it rides the eastern slopes of the Rockies. And this is what's surging down into Oklahoma, Kansas. And it's going to begin to get a kind of a southeast directional flow to it. But I mean, look, right now, let's go all the way. Let's stop it. See if we can get this thing stopped right here. Amarillo, you're almost at 60 degrees. But man, look to your north. Look what's coming. The Arctic plunge. So let's talk about temperatures. And one thing, and we're going to talk about the HRRR model, because if you compare the HRRR model with what the temperatures are right now, it is I was checking it out when I was putting the video together. It is within a few degrees of the actual air temperature. Now, if I was to look at the GFS ensembles like I've been showing, it's a little behind. So the front is a little ahead of schedule, and that has been the case. The front has been trending a little bit faster. So let's take it all the way out to about midnight tonight. The front's knocking on the door of the panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas. It's done split Kansas. It's knocking on the door of Kansas City, or 32 degrees around midnight. And then, oh no, it doesn't switch. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, we're good. And then we keep this going, knocking on the door, Kansas City at around 1 a.m. in the morning, around 34 degrees, right? That's not too bad. Well, you know, by the time it's about 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, now it's at 12 degrees. And then you're waking up, and it's in the single digits below zero. You know, same thing with Oklahoma City. The cold front moves through probably in the wee hours of the morning. And then by the time you're actually waking up, the sun's rising. It's 5, 8 degrees in Oklahoma. Waking up to the 40s, Oklahoma City. Waking up to the 40s in Dallas, right? By the time you get into about lunchtime, it's in the teens, according to the HRRR model. Now, not to ignore you folks up here. I think most of you folks would know what state you live in. But, I mean, look up here. At this point, this is midday Thursday. The actual air temperature is below zero all as far south as Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and it's snowing in these areas. The snowfall ratios will be absolutely insane, and that's why you have winter storm warnings for areas. Even in Missouri and Illinois, they're only expecting 1 to 4 inches of snow, because it's just going to be incredibly dangerous. And I read a lot of comments today. I was reading, there was some spicy comments, by the way, but that's just how it's going to be with these bigger videos. You know, the common theme with some of the comments I was reading is, this is normal. I was seeing a lot of people say that. Well, that might be the case. You know, I don't live up here, so it's hard for me to speak on behalf of you folks. But what I can tell you is, I don't know if negative 40 to 50 degree wind chills and then winds blowing at 40 to 50 miles per hour. And I don't know if that's normal really anywhere in the lower 48. To me, the word normal means it happens pretty frequently, right? So I don't know, but I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. We'll leave it at that. I think, like I said, I think a lot of people are getting lost in the fact that a lot of snow is not falling, so they think this isn't going to be a big deal. But for you folks who don't think it's going to be a big deal, I guess you'll find out. But let's keep this rolling here. And Little Rock, you're around the 40s around midday, and then by the time you're into the afternoon hours, Little Rock, you're in the 20s. This is moving through the Mississippi Valley, the Quad States region, and by the time you get to around dinner time, you're below zero in St. Louis, 10 degrees below zero in Kansas City. You're around 8 degrees in Chicago. The front's blasting through the Ohio Valley. And we go on and switch it to my folks in the eastern U.S. Look at this front moving through. Memphis at around 2 p.m., you're at 43 degrees. Memphis at 5 p.m., you're at 26 degrees, according to the HRRR model. Shreveport, you start your morning out afternoon out at a lovely 40-something degrees. By the time you get into about 3 p.m., you're in your 20s. You're in the 20s. So this front begins to blast through Mississippi, Western Tennessee, Western Kentucky. It's got the entire state of Indiana split in half at this point. You got single digits in one half of the state, 30s in the other half. Michigan, just a typical December day, right? And then the front moves through and it cools off. But I can tell you the coldest temperatures will be down here. We'll stop it in around midnight. Tomorrow night, the front blasts through Nashville, probably around dinner time. And it is accompanied by strong gusts of winds, bursts of heavy snow. This moves through and the temperature within 3 hours goes from the 40s. And the HRRR model says you drop to 7 degrees in 3 hours in Nashville. Birmingham, 40s at around 9 p.m. By the time you're at about 1 a.m., you're in the teens. This continues to move through 50 degrees at around 4 a.m. in Columbia. By the time you get into sunrise, it's at 28 degrees. By the time you get into lunchtime, it's in the 20s. This is really rare east of the Appalachian Mountains, even more rare than it is west. But we're getting into about midday Friday at this point, and you're well below zero in the Ohio Valley, Kentucky, and places like that. But just insane temperatures in real time. We keep going. We back this up. And, I'll look, we can look at the GFS ensembles because the HRRR model doesn't go out as far. But as far as your temperatures for highs for Friday, you're well below freezing for everybody. Everybody. Find your state, look at the number that's around where your temperature is going to be. Dallas, for example, I keep mentioning you folks, only in the 20s for highs. Nothing compared to February 2021. I'm not going to ever compare anything to that. I don't think we'll ever see, I don't want to say ever, but man, what we saw in that event was unreal. Friday morning, this is what we're waking up with temperatures in the Dakotas and Minnesota and Iowa, well below zero. Wisconsin, one part, as funny, the western parts of the state are colder than the eastern parts and the northern parts. And then we get into our Christmas Eve high temperatures. And, you're still struggling to get above freezing. And some of these southern cities, you're still Little Rock, you're still in the 20s, 23 degrees in Memphis, only in the teens for a high in Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, very cold morning still. Then you get into high temperatures around Christmas Day, and you're starting to get out that winter chill and that Arctic tundra air mass in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You switch it. Look at the national blend of all. Well, I'm sorry. Let's look at the GFS ensembles. And for your temperatures, if you keep going, you're waking up Saturday morning. Atlanta, single digits. Potentially Huntsville, Alabama, single digits. Jackson, 17. Columbia, 16. Look at my folks down here in Florida. Miami, you'll be in the 40s for lows. That's not common at all for you folks. All the way down to Orlando, you see the freezing mark. Washington, D.C., 12 degrees. All of West Virginia just about at or below zero. Pittsburgh, -1. The entire Ohio Valley just below zero just about. And then high temperatures for Christmas Eve only in the single digits. Some areas, especially the areas that get the most snow, might struggle to get above zero for a high temperature. Say in Columbia, the high is going to be 28 degrees on Christmas Eve. I don't even remember the last high that was only in the 20s where I live. I really don't. I try to remember, but I don't. Even during a winter storm, I don't remember. But low temperatures begin to moderate somewhat, but still very cold. And then for our Christmas Day, potential high temperatures, certain areas still, even in the south, just are struggling to get above freezing. So you keep this rolling here, and I want to show you this Just talk about how dramatic this cold front is. And, this blast through, for example, it's about 37 degrees at around 2 p.m. in Memphis. This is 3 p.m. This is 4 p.m. It goes from 37 degrees to 10 degrees in 2 hours. And then it goes to 5 degrees. And then it's saying, I'm sorry, I got on the wrong. This is actual, we need to bump it up to actual temperatures. I apologize. My bad. So I was about to say, I was looking at it, I was like, oh, okay, this looks a little bit too dramatic, HRRR. Okay, so 43 degrees, right? In Memphis, same kind of deal. Jackson, 40s, almost up to 50. And the temperature drops into the 20s in 2 hours. And by the time you get into 6 p.m., it's around 12 degrees in single digits. And the HRRR model has Memphis almost below zero. And this blast through, just look at the gradient. Like Atlanta, for example, 40s, at about 11 p.m. or midnight. By the time you're waking up in Atlanta, the HRRR model wants Atlanta to get down into the single digits. Not just the single digits, but like well into it. I think this is a little overdone. That's my personal opinion, but we'll see how it goes. In fact, for the same time frame, you look at the GFS ensembles, and I forgot, you cannot zone in that much. But I think the HRRR model is a little bit too cold, but if it's not too cold, guys, man, I don't know. I mean, we're going to be very, very cold, I can tell you that. But same thing with the Ohio Valley, the Mid-South. Look at this front. This is for Thursday afternoon. The front's starting to blast through Chicago. It's knocking on the doorstep of the Illinois-Indiana state line. Moves through. Goes from about 40 degrees in Indianapolis to about 5 degrees in a 4-hour period. And then it has below zero temperatures entering the Ohio Valley. And then we get to Friday morning. And this is how cold it wants to be in the Ohio Valley for the morning of the 23rd. I don't know if it's going to be this cold, but we'll watch. The operational GFS, or the European, for example, man, I hate when it does that. But for that same period, for, let's see, Friday morning, let's go all the way to Friday morning. I mean, it's pretty cold. It's just not as cold as the HRRR model, but widespread below 0 degree readings in this area. Very, very cold. We can take a look at the Northeast. As we're waking up Friday morning, it's very mild in southern New England in the 50s. Probably rapid snow melt is occurring. But don't worry, if you're upset that your snow's melting, here comes the glory. An Arctic front coming in from the southwest. Who would have known? But this blast through Washington, D.C., probably Friday morning. Temperatures drop well into the teens. Blast through New York City around mid-morning Friday. Goes from the 40s into the 20s very quickly, and this is as far out as the model goes. But, I mean, you get the picture. I mean, just brutal, brutal temperatures. Feels like temperatures, the wind chills, absolutely dangerous. We'll go all the way out. Let's just take it all the way out to Friday morning. National blend of all models. I mean, pick your poison. The Dakotas, 50 degrees below zero. Nebraska, Montana, Wyoming, absolutely brutal. We'll go all the way out to about midday. Thursday, this is about the warmest part of the day. You got a 6 degree wind chill in Dallas-Fort Worth. You got 10 below in Oklahoma City, 25 below in Kansas City, 25 degree wind chill in Little Rock, but it's just at this point moving in. The entire central and northern plains is anywhere from 20 to 50 degrees below zero as a wind chill. And you go on and move a little bit further east, and we keep this rolling here. We go all the way out to Friday morning, and just not too bad. 31 degree wind chill, 26 degree wind chill in Charlotte. But look what's coming. I mean, the entire state of Tennessee is anywhere from 10 to 25 degrees below zero with a wind chill. Same thing with Kentucky and this Ohio Valley. These readings are ridiculous, and I mean, just insane wind chills, guys. It really is. You look at this. You get a 4 degree wind chill in Columbia. The deep south, single digits below zero. I always mention Columbia because, one, I live there, and two, I always consider it the armpit of hell. I think it's one of the hottest places in the South when you mix in humidity and air temperature. But a lot of people disagree and will say somebody else is. But, anyways, look at the wind chills down in Florida, down into the teens, all the way into north central Florida. Pretty impressive. And, I mean, look at these wind chills in the Northeast. Just dangerous, 20 to as much as 30 degrees below zero for wind chills for Saturday morning. And this continues, it's going to be brutal for the Midwest for a period of time, and just brutal feels like temperatures. These winds, that will cause these wind chills. I mean, here they go. We'll take it all the way out. This is, if you're wondering what time we're at, look right here. But back it up an hour because we're in Central Time. So we'll scoot this in time. We're getting into 5, 6, 7 a.m. And then, winds are gusting to 30 to 40 miles per hour in all the plains at this point. So basically just right behind the cold front, guys. If you're ahead of the cold front, you got some breezy conditions, right? But as soon as you get behind this cold front, winds immediately. That's why winds immediately start gusting to 30 to 40 to as much as 50 mile per hour winds. That's why they're saying blizzard conditions sporadic and possible as far southwest as Oklahoma. Because along this line, and I'll show you in a second, there's going to be intense precipitation, intense snow. You keep this going, and we'll go on and look at the eastern U.S. And here it goes. It keeps going. We're riding into, we done switch to the 18Z. But you're riding here. Here it comes. Here comes the front. Blast through. It wants to show areas of western Kentucky and Tennessee with 35 to as much as 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Look at the entire state of Illinois. On and off blizzard conditions for Illinois with light to moderate and at times heavy snow falling. And this continues. You can actually see where the front is. Look up here and all the way down here. Along it, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. And then this blast through. And one thing I'll mention, he's even ahead of the front in southern New England. That's why you have high wind warnings up here, watches and wind advisories, things like that. Because even ahead of it, you're going to have 40 to 50, maybe even much as 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts riding into southern New England tonight into tomorrow into Friday morning. And really it's going to start probably tomorrow into Friday morning. But, I mean, we'll stop it right here. It's around midday. Look at these winds off the coast of New England. Long Island, I mean, Friday afternoon, you're going to have tropical storm force winds up here. And we'll stop it right here. The winds, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts. So, that's why this isn't as normal as you guys think it is. It's not just your regular bozo cold front moving through and then a little bit of snow and then everything calms down. It just gets really cold. The winds are going to make it miserable, guys. Winds are gusting to hurricanes force winds off Lake Erie in Ontario. Just crazy, guys. It really is. And these winds continue all the way into the morning of Christmas Eve, and then they finally begin to chill out in these areas. But everybody is going to see strong winds off the actual front. So let's talk about precipitation. So this is moving through right now. You got a widespread snow. It's really scattered and smothered, but as the front really progresses here, we'll stop this around the middle of the night tonight. You're getting some heavy bursts of snow moving through Kansas City. So you'll probably go to sleep, probably nothing on the ground in Kansas City. You'll wake up and it'll just be a different world. I'll leave it at that. And you guys will, if you folks out in the Midwest and the plains, and if you're tuning in, I'm very grateful you are. Please let me know what the conditions are like when you guys are waking up in the morning. I would love to know. But we're going to zone in on a couple areas right into here. But look at this front. It's moving through. Along it, you have this almost squall line feature along this front. And I know you're looking at this, you're saying, Mitch, this does not look like a lot of snow at all. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But when I tell you that every single flake that is falling in this is sticking, I mean it. And there's going to be treacherous conditions, even if it's just widespread 1 to 2 to 3 inches of snow. The snow's going to be blowing around, and behind it, there will be a more consolidated area of snow that falls. But this moves through Oklahoma. That's why you got winter weather advisories as far southwest as Oklahoma. And this moves all the way through into Little Rock, heck, even Shreveport maybe, and even as far south as Little Rock, a burst of snow. And behind it, those bitterly cold temperatures, right? And, immediately, it's going to coat everything. So let's take a look at Oklahoma. I want to show you, for example, here's the front. So this is getting into about 2 o'clock in the morning. This starts to move through Tulsa, Oklahoma, at around 4 o'clock in the morning. Most of you folks will still be asleep out here. But this is the front moving through, and along it, you'll probably start off with some rain very, very briefly. Then it might go to sleet, freezing rain, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. And then it's going to just go to snow. And when I tell you it's going to be brief, it's probably just going to be at most a couple hours. This is going to blast through, probably coat everything. Not saying with several inches of snow, but it will give you a coating of snow. And we'll see how much more wraparound moisture comes in behind this. But the more moisture that's behind this front, obviously the more snow you get. Even if it's light to moderate snow, even if it's light snow. It's going to stick on all the roads. It's going to stick on everything. And then if you're rooting for a white Christmas, it's going to give you one, because anything that falls ain't going to go anywhere for a couple days because of how cold it's going to be. But, you stop this. This is around 8 o'clock in the morning for you folks out here. It is snowing in Tulsa all the way to Oklahoma City. In areas of northwest Arkansas, this front's moving through. And then you got an area of light snow that moves throughout the afternoon. And this will cause slick conditions with very strong winds. Up here in the Ohio Valley, this moves through. And then it moves through and hits St. Louis probably around the early morning hours of tomorrow. And it's going to be normal weather ahead of it, guys. Ahead of it, just normal weather, right? But when this hits, the atmosphere changes. I'm telling you, for St. Louis, you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to be like, what is going on? Especially if you're taking this lightly. This is going to hit, and the temperatures are going to drop 20 to 30 degrees. Snow's going to be blowing everywhere. It's not just going to be your average system that moves through, and then, it's just light snow, moderate snow, heavy snow. You pick up 3 to 5 inches of snow over an 8 to 10 hour period, and then it's on out. That's not what this is. And I keep trying to stress that, but this is like a squall line of snow with 30 to 40 to as much as 50 mile per hour wind gusts associated with it. And then behind it, the winds will probably calm down somewhat, but then you're going to have a period of moderate snow that's following behind this with gusty winds behind the actual front, with temperatures dropping into the teens, the single digits. And then, you look at this, and this looks like some heavy snow in St. Louis. Snow all the way as far south as Arkansas. This continues to move through. We get until about midday Thursday. This blast through Chicago. And I know there's a lot of people around Chicago disappointed for winter weather fans that wanted that 6 to 12 inches of snow that was, forecasted for this area. And I still think you guys could get, 2 to 5 inches of snow, maybe more. But still in Wisconsin, extremely cold temperatures. This blast through the Ohio Valley. And I think I got a clip of the Ohio Valley. I do. Here we go. Chicago right here, Bloomington, Indianapolis. Look as this moves through. If you look really closely, you can see some yellows in here. That is very heavy precipitation. So we'll stop it right here. This is around 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. The entire front has cleared Illinois, Missouri, Michigan, Wisconsin. Not Michigan, but Wisconsin and Iowa. The temperatures at this point are probably in the teens, the single digits in Illinois. But look, ahead of this front, just some rain in Illinois and Ohio and most of Kentucky. But as this front moves through along it, I think there could be thunder snow. I really do. The dynamics are going to be incredible with this, and just how dramatic it's going to be along this front. This moves through, temperatures drop into the single digits. It's just going to... I know I keep saying it, guys, over and over again, but there's a lot of people who are just taking this lightly. This is not your just normal run-of-the-mill winter weather event. It's not. Along this, it's going to be raining, for example. At this point, I'll stop it right here. Look at Indiana. It's raining in eastern Indiana. Chilly rain. In western Indiana, it's snowing in the single digits. And right down the middle is where the cold front is. And accompanied with this, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts are possible. Same thing with Kentucky. A lot of people have been wondering about Kentucky. It's going to be kind of the same deal, I think. Front blast through, changes to all snow, and then, look at Ohio. A lot of people are wondering about a dry slot in eastern Kentucky and areas of Ohio. But that might be the case, but I still think y'all will get accumulating snow. And this is an intense band of precipitation along this. Yes, it only snows for, 2 to 5 hours. That's about it. But, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be quite intense, So, take it for how it is. You go down here to Kentucky also. Let's see if we still got, I think we might have lost our long-range H-triple model. No, we haven't. So, down here in Kentucky, my folks here in Tennessee, look at this. You're knocking on the door of Nashville around, what time is this? This is around 7 p.m. Get whatever last days you need to get done. As soon as this moves in, you're going to be inside for the next 2 or 3 days. Raining, abruptly switches to snow, heavy at times, and then just maybe some gusty winds and just snow behind this. As far south as Huntsville, Alabama. Same kind of deal. I think some flurries can be flying around the backside all the way as far south as maybe Birmingham and Atlanta. I think it's possible. In fact, let's go on and just look at Georgia for you folks. Same thing. We got this moving through. Look at some flurries flying around in North Georgia. And a reminder, this is the middle of the night, Thursday night and Friday morning. A reminder, it's so cold that anything that's falling behind this cold front, even if it's rain somehow, it's freezing. It is. I'm telling you, it is. And then, you got some showers moving through along the cold front. I wish we could have more moisture back here. This would put more snow for Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Just not the case. But my folks up here in the Northeast, there's going to be a winter storm tonight in these higher elevations of West Virginia, Virginia, and Maryland, and the hills of Pennsylvania. And this is going to be a good thumping of heavy, wet snow, totally different snow than what we're about to see. This moves through, drops several inches of snow for these higher elevations in here. I mean, this is some pretty heavy snow. I think somebody can get an isolated half a foot to 8 inches of snow from this very, very quickly tomorrow morning. It's going to be a quick hitting winter storm. But rain quickly comes over these areas, and it's actually raining in the same areas that might get half a foot of snow. And this snow moves into New York State sometime tomorrow afternoon and evening. Vermont, New Hampshire, coats the ground, and then it changes the rain. But look right on behind it. Look on the heels of it. Here comes the fronts. Rain, heavy rain, turning to very heavy snow. Very briefly, like a squall line of snow moves through Pennsylvania sometime in the wee hours of the morning, Friday morning, and this is heading right towards the Northeast. Same thing with New York City. You could be around Friday morning. A line of not storms, but a line of heavy rain might be switching to a heavy burst of snow. We'll have to see how this works out as it gets also into Boston and things like that. But I will tell you, you're definitely in the South pulling for the GFS if you're a winter weather fan, because I can tell you the GFS puts snow all the way to Birmingham, and it brings a nice area of snow for the Mid-Atlantic. I'm sorry, not the Mid-Atlantic, the Mid-South. The Ohio Valley has like a low pressure with back-end moisture, and this would be a more high-end event if the GFS was to play out. But the GFS, even in Virginia, on the mesoscale models, the HRRR model, it doesn't have this back-end snow from North Carolina and Virginia. So it's something we got to watch. We certainly do. And, we're 32 minutes in just talking about snow accumulations. But like I said, guys, I don't think that's going to be the biggest deal with this. I really don't. But it is going to make things dangerous. Snowfall between now and this takes us all the way through Christmas Eve morning. Like I said, not a ton of snow. Minneapolis, 5, 6, 7 inches. This is the National Weather Service forecast. Iowa, most of the state will see anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow. Nebraska, just a coating. It's snowing in Nebraska right now. We gone and moved to the south central U.S. Not a lot of snow showing up for Oklahoma, but you never know. You never know. In fact, you look at you do look at the HRRR model, and you look at the 18Z, and it brings a good 1 to 2 inches of snow into areas of northeast Oklahoma. Same thing with Kansas. We switch it. Look at the blend of all models for this region. Take it all the way out to, just going to go out to the 26. Not a whole lot in this area. You look at the GFS. I know I'm flipping through this very fast. And brings a few inches into this area on the GFS. But like I said, not widespread, 12-inch totals in these areas, guys. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. We go on and switch to the Ohio Valley. And this is the National Weather Service forecast. Let's go on and okay, we're getting a weird glitch there. This just only takes us out through Christmas Eve. It is still snowing in these lake effect snow areas. And I like this forecast. Widespread, 2 to as much as 4-inch totals from Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. And then I don't know if I'll buy this little dry slot yet. I really don't. There's a lot of models that don't pick up on this. But there's a thing going on over here where they think there's going to be dry air. But I think it's possible to get some snow in this area. But Wisconsin, Michigan, and the UP of Michigan will be the snow globe winners up here. If you live in Detroit, probably just a few inches to maybe as much as 4 inches. But when you go up to north, guaranteed white Christmas. There's already snow on the ground up here. But you guys could get some blizzard conditions. And there's going to be blizzard conditions in these areas. Just to remind you guys, if you didn't hear me in the beginning of the video, blizzard conditions isn't really, the criteria isn't for snow amounts. I mean, I'm sure that kind of factors into it, but really it's just snow falling with sustained 35 miles per hour winds for a 3-hour period. And, there's not really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you get 2 or 3 inches of snow or a foot of snow. It's the same kind of deal, but The National Weather Service, let's go on and just drop it down into my folks down here in Kentucky and Tennessee. National Weather Service throws y'all a bone of about an inch of snow, maybe a half an inch of snow in Memphis. Knoxville, an inch of snow. Kentucky, you got this weird little cutoff here, but I don't buy it. Cincinnati, I think you get a couple inches of snow. Lexington, Kentucky, 1 to 2 inches of snow. Dayton, Ohio, 2 to 3 inches of snow. Indianapolis, 2 to 4, 3, maybe as much as 5 inches of snow. I mean, I could see it. We'll go back to the Ohio Valley in this region. I'm kind of doing some of this on the fly as it's coming to me. You look at the national blend of all models for the same time frame, and it likes a little area. One thing, if you're in the plateau of Tennessee, just east of Nashville, you're going to be favored. And in the valley of Tennessee, between the southern Appalachian Mountains and the plateau, I have a lot of people who complain around the Chattanooga area. It just always seems y'all get gypped. I feel bad for people who are winter weather fans in the Platte and basically these valley regions. But, I don't know what to say. Some areas are in microclimate, but in bad ways. But, the blend of all models, just 1 to 2 inches widespread. Doesn't have a big event for Kansas City and St. Louis anymore. And that's because this low pressure has kind of trended back east and has remained that way. This only shows 3 inches of snow in Chicago, around 5 in Detroit. But you turn around, you look at the latest, European that literally just came out, and 2 inches of snow in Chicago, not a lot. Likes this little area down here, with a little bit of more snow, but pick your poison, pick your model, whatever you like. But at the end of the day, this is the National Weather Service forecast for these areas, and I would always go by that. And it pretty much matches most models. The National Weather Service in Pittsburgh obviously doesn't like its area getting a lot of snow, but I think you guys could get more snow than what this is showing. But for my folks up here in the Northeast, between now and Christmas Eve, this will be an interior snowfall event, but you take it out, the blend of all models. I like what this looks like. We'll go all the way out through the evening of the 26th and look at these lake effect snow bands popping off Erie and Ontario. That's probably 2 to 3 feet of snow. It'll continue to snow through Christmas off the Great Lakes and then past Christmas. So, the I-95 corridor, you guys could get a switch to snow at the very end. But I think at most you might get a coating. But that's all I got, guys. I hope I wasn't too everywhere. It's a lot to cover. It's a lot to talk about. I'll be happy if the next winter storm is more of in a smaller area and not as impactful, because I definitely need a breather. But God bless all y'all. I'll have you another update in the morning, and stay safe because the Arctic is coming.